I've never questioned the fact that I was meant to be a musician. I feel like I've always known it. It's never ever been something that I've doubted, and I just saw this path, and it's just a part of who I am. So my name's Joe Robinson, and I'm a musician, songwriter. I'm from Australia originally, but I've been in Nashville since 2010. So I hail from a somewhat rural area called Temagog. According to Doodle, it has the population of 200 people, but I always say that seems like an overestimation to me. I grew up on a dirt road, and I remember being up in the bush, as we say in Australia, and we had this TV that was this big with 2 channels that were both fuzzy, and we got hot water in 2001, so it was pretty rough and ready. And I just remember being like desperate to get out in the world and make my mark. There wasn't a lot to do, so I found music. I thought, if I'm gonna be the best at this thing, I'm gonna learn everything I can about it. And I started to wake up at 4 a.m. every day and practice. So I would practice for 3 hours, sometimes 3.5 to 4 hours before school, every day. I just became obsessed with it from the moment I picked it up. The first thing I learned to play on the guitar was Horse with No Name. And I learned this pro when I was like 5. My mum showed me, and it was... And I remember when I first learned that, I thought, that's boring. It's just the one sound. But soon after that, I learned Hit the Road Jack. And I used to do that for hours on end, and I would make up my own words. I would like rap along with it. And that was my party trick for a while, being able to play the Hit the Road Jack chords and make up my own songs.
How would you play that song today? Did you just pull that out of your back pocket, or did you have done that before?
I haven't played that song in years. So I was on Australia's Got Talent in 2008. So it was a crazy experience. I just left high school. This opportunity came up to be on TV, and I didn't really know much about it. In fact, at first I didn't know it was going to be on TV. And I turned up to this huge theatre in Melbourne, and I walked out on stage, and there was like a theatre full of people, and there were the judges with the buttons, and I was like, oh wow, this is cool.
Howdy.
Hi there.
And at first I was like, this is just another gig. I'll just go out there and play like I'm playing at the local pub, and didn't think too much about it. But I was a big hit on that show apparently, and as the episodes progressed, I became more and more aware of the fact that a lot of people are watching this, millions of people, and it was really an amazing moment when I won.
The winner of Australia's Got Talent 2008, Smokin' Joe Robertson! Congratulations!
I really didn't expect to, and it was a great kickstart for my career. So it was a really cool experience. I had a trip to Nashville planned for like 5 days after I won the show, and I won, and I was all over the tabloids for 15 minutes, and then I left the country, came here where nobody knew anything. So it It was a really fun experience, but I was pretty obsessed with getting out there and playing my songs for people. When I came to Nashville for the first time, I went door knocking. And I went all up and down Music Row and played my songs for anybody that would listen. People liked me because I was this really curious, passionate kid. You know, people here are pretty nice, and they were really encouraging of me. It was a cool thing. I met a lot of people that first trip. I had considered moving to LA and New York, but I went to New York and I was just like, this place is too intense for me. Like, I'm used to like cows in the field. And I went to LA and kind of doesn't feel right. I came to Nashville and I met so many people. There were places to jam. It was just this pool of great musicians. So for me, it was a no-brainer coming to Nashville as opposed to another music city. I had this burning desire to play as a soloist because I just didn't want to have to rely on other people. It was so hard to find people who were as passionate about music as me. So I developed this way of playing solo acoustic guitar based on Tommy Emmanuel and Lenny Breau and Chet Atkins and these pioneers of that style. And that became something that I was known for. I'd be playing songs like that was one of the first songs I learned, and I started writing my own songs, kind of in that style, like all the mistakes were intentional. These days, I spend a lot of time writing songs. So pretty much every weekday I'm home. I have a writing session with somebody. Writing is a big part of what I do. But I tour a lot, so I'm on the road constantly. And I also record a lot, so I do a lot of recording sessions in town, and I enjoy that because I enjoy working with some of the best session musicians in the world. And I also do a lot of educational stuff, so I have several courses out, and that's been a big part of what I've spent time on in the last year. I love teaching people and empowering people to figure out the intricacies of this instrument because it's been a really great thing in my life, and I like to share that with people. You know, I get messages from kids in Indonesia and different parts of South America and Eastern Europe, and they're like, "Hey man, I figured out how to play your songs. It was really hard, but I figured it out." If I look at every cool thing that's happened to me, it's been because I've really paid attention to certain mentor figures. So for me, seeking out people who inspire me and who challenge me has directly resulted in really, really great things in my life. There have definitely been some really cool moments along the way. When I was on stage and they handed me a big check on Australia's Got Talent, that was like a really surreal experience. Very surreal. But one was at a festival in Colorado. It was me, and it was Eric Johnson, and it was Albert Lee, and it was Red Volkart, and it was John Jorgensen, and it was Tommy Emmanuel, and it was Ray Flack. Like all these guys who I'd listened to, I mean, literally when I was a kid, eating my cereal, watching videos of Eric Johnson and Albert Lee. And here I was on stage with all of them. So that was a real pinch me moment. There's cool moments along the way, but really, you know, waking up and just playing guitar is still just a blast. I love it.